Thank you, Richard, for finally inviting me to this event. Good morning, everyone. Once again, I'm Ibrahim. A lot of my friends, my partner, they all know my passion is actually all about changing the world. And that's the only reason why I joined government 12 years ago. Also, very, very passionate about countryside development and getting Philippines to become more competitive in this sector. So this morning, I have 5 minutes to actually present to you some of the key initiatives of the Department of Information and Communications Technology. I'm still with them. I have technically retired November because they've actually moved the retirement age in government to 45. So I had to retire down. Some of the key initiatives that are actually meant to make it easier for the BPO companies in the Philippines to actually do location study. Secondly, upskilling initiatives that should position the Philippines as a very competitive and a preferred hub for not just voice-based services, but more complex services. And finally, some of the initiatives that we have that are actually helping our Filipino-owned BPO companies to market their services and products globally. So let me start with, so these are actually some of the topics I'm going to be discussing this morning. Let me start with telling you that all of these initiatives are actually covered under our DICT Digital PH initiative. We've recently rebranded what used to be what used to be our Next Wave series initiative into Digital Series, because there's now a focus to actually get our series to become more smarter and more innovative. Okay, so for those of you who were not there when we, together with IBPAP, launched this initiative, the Digital Cities PH portal. Okay, if you need to know more about each of the cities in the Philippines, this is the place to go, digitalcitiesph.com. This is a joint initiative. We're still trying to populate this. So I'm going to actually walk you a bit through the portal. The key parameters that are covered in this portal are actually, of course, talent, availability of talent in each of these cities, the business environment in each of these cities, and finally, infrastructure. Okay, and the figures, the data actually in this portal are actually vetted not just by IBPA but as well as DICT. So if we look at, okay, this is where each province is actually profiled in this portal. And for example, if we'd like to look at the city of Iloilo, this is how it's going to look like, okay, in terms of population, in terms of the number of graduates, deep dive into the programs that these graduates have gone through, okay, including data from the TESDA vocational schools, senior graduates from the senior high, and other things. Okay. The other things that we do right now in cooperation with IBPAP and PSAA are actually the following initiatives. We're still doing the Lean Six Sigma together with IBPAP. This is actually a government-funded scholarship program, 4 months. The intention is to produce more Lean Six Sigma black belts in the Philippines. And so far, we have graduated more than 100. The selection process for all the scholars is actually being done by the Quality Council of IBPAP. The other initiatives we're together with PSAA is actually the National Coding Boot Camps. We intend to bring this as well to Cebu. It's a 6 months full-time training for would-be coders. and it's actually full-time. At the end of the 6 months program, they will have to go through another 3 months internship with some of our corporate partners. Of course, in return, all these corporate partners will actually get the first cut among the best graduates of these batches. We intend to do another one in Cebu, in the next 3 months. Medical coding and billing. This is a special initiative with the Healthcare Informatics Association of the Philippines. We need to produce more certified medical coders and billers. And finally, we're actually doing the business analytics program. It's also a scholarship fully funded by the government for existing employees of BPO companies. And it is, again, a joint initiative with IBPAP. We're actually just about to launch a very, very specialized course on data science, also with the University of Philippines and IBPAP, again fully funded by the government. Now, in terms of sectoral initiatives with the contact center of the association, we're actually the one funding the Gen Next Leadership Forum. The intention is to produce more mid-level managers in our industry. With BPAP, we're doing the It Starts Here, which is a campaign to encourage senior high or graduating high school students to get into STEM-related programs, as well as encouraging our college graduates to seriously consider joining the industry. And then we have, together with the Philippine Software Industry Association, our quarterly enablement seminars. And finally, with IBPAP, we're also the one funding, doing with them the IBPAP learning sessions, which we also intend to bring to Cebu in the first half of this year. Now, for international exposures for the local BPO companies, we're funding the Philippine delegation to the software development exposition in Japan. That's a yearly annual thing. We've been actually joining this for the last 12 years. And then Connect Tech Asia in Singapore. This is actually very, very specific to our digital startups, getting them exposed to the regional market. And this is also an annual thing. And then we recently joined the HIMSS International Convention in Orlando, Florida, where I believe 9 local healthcare information management or HIMAP members participated. And then for our creatives, we're the one funding our annual participation in MIPCOM. This is actually the largest creative exposition in the world. This is usually done in Cannes, in France. And finally, again, for our digital startups, we're funding their participation in RISE Hong Kong, which is, again, one of the more important startup meetups, international startup meetups we have in this part of the world. So these are just some of the things. Apologies for just actually not getting into specifics of this, but if you actually need to know more about these programs, if you're an IBPAP member, just talk to IBPAP. Well, of course, Jo Marie is not there anymore, so you have to talk to somebody else in IBPAP today. For some of the PSIA, the software development initiative, we have PSIA. And if not, then we have our people. We have some of our DICT people actually holding office in the IBPAP offices. And that's how we're closely, really closely, very, very closely engaged with the industry. Once again, thank you, Richard, for having me here. Good morning, everyone.